Howdy friends, Logan Roper here, one of the owners here at Texas Rose Cattle. So today we kind of got two things to kind of showcase for y'all. One kind of some mundane, normal ranch thing. The other thing's kind of a unique deal that me and my dad kind of came up with. So I know that, first off, kind of start off with, I know that the ABA is obviously going through some drama today. But here at Texas Rose, we don't focus on any of that. We just focus more about being uplifting and keep on doing what we're doing, which is breeding good cattle and treating them right. So one of the first things I like to say is that so up here at our sword and shoot area, we actually have our very first cow, Miss V8 714/7. We affectionately call her Southern Rose or Rosie. Well, Rosie's up here and she's being fed and taken care of because we actually took her to the vet and she got some corns removed. So kind of showcase that a little bit. So for those of y'all who don't really know too much about corns on cattle, I'll kind of explain that. So what happens is it's called interdigital hyperplasia. So what it is there's a buildup of skin between the hooves. It's kind of like a corn on a person essentially. And it's usually from irritation. It's been linked to things such as foot rot disease, things like that. Well, I don't ever claim to be a vet or anything like that. I just have a little bit of experience in some of this. And well, she unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, but inexperience with showing cattle, you end up with a couple lessons to learn, and one of them is, as we feed these cattle a higher concentrate diet, their hooves typically tend to grow a little bit faster. So what do we do as showmen? Well, we go ahead and get those hooves trimmed. There's nothing wrong with getting hooves trimmed. That helps the cow out, especially for showing. But we have to acknowledge that every time we get that hoof trimmed, and every time we feed it a high grain diet, we're exacerbating the problem. We're making cows that their hoof growth is a little exceptional. When you give them a hoof trim, it changes up the, kind of growth curve and the way in which those hooves grow, so you tend to have some problems. Well, Rosie here, she showed for about 3 years, so she was on a heavy grain diet for a while, and probably a little more heavy than I would feed now, because, I didn't really know much back then, but she was on a high grain diet, so her hooves grew exceptionally fast, and we got them trimmed pretty often. Well, take her out to the pasture now, and you don't really check those hooves nearly as often. They grow a little faster. You start to get some funky issues. Well, she had some funky issues where her hooves started to grow over a little bit and had some issues like that. So we went to go get them trimmed, and well, what happens is as they walk and are irritated on this clay soil we got out here, it's pretty hard and rough. It causes a buildup of skin in between the hooves. So me being an advocate for animal welfare, primarily since I was a member of the inaugural team for animal welfare judging at Texas A&M, I find it's my priority, especially here on our ranch, to treat our cattle the best we can. And while there's not too many cattle I'd pay to get a surgery done on, Rosie, for sure we would, because she is the foundation of our herd and very important to us. Now, she's had a rough go of it the past couple of years. She's had about 3 calves die. 2 of them were kind of just complications. One was coyotes, one was genetic, and the last one was unfortunate. That was a 279 son we had, real good looking calf. He died. He kind of succumbed to the cold. We thought he was out of the woodwork going to make it good, but he just didn't. So she's had a rough go of it, so we treat her a little special. But she's up here getting some food, got her legs all bandaged up because she got those corns removed, and we plan to go ahead and get her back to the vet in about 10 days, get those stitches removed, and move on. So I'll go ahead and showcase her for y'all. So this is her over here, our 714/7, or Miss Rosie. And as you can see, she doesn't just have that little section. She's got this whole sword and pin area to herself. And she's back on feed, so that's good to see. So she's a little thin, of course, because she's having a hard time walking, so a little bit hard time grazing, but plan to go ahead and get her, up and going pretty soon and get us back to where we were. So, the other thing I wanted to go ahead and show y'all is actually me and my dad, we were kind of inspired, I was kind of inspired by a mineral feeder design that I saw online, posted by a few people from different universities. I think one of them was Kansas State, the other one was Penn State, so a lot of really good agriculture schools. Well, one of their designs was to use a bucket or a barrel, a 55-gallon barrel that you cut into the side and you put in a tire, and it works out pretty good. So I went searching looking for tires, or old beat up truck tires big enough for a barrel, and man, you wouldn't believe how hard this actually is to find them. I called tire places all over the place, could not find any place that was willing to let me get some tires. So we came up with our own design, or my dad came up with their own design, and it turned out pretty well, so I'll go ahead and showcase that for y'all. So I'm going to head and edit that in, so y'all go ahead and take a look at that. So I'll be right back with y'all. Howdy friends, right back here with y'all. So we went ahead and got that mineral tub set up right here for y'all to go ahead and look at. And one thing I realized is we fed tubs for a while. Nothing wrong with using tubs. But man, using loose minerals so much better, so much easier, and so much cheaper. You can actually see how much the cow actually are intaking, so it works out pretty good. So here's that design for y'all. So it's essentially 2 4x4s. They're about 8 foot in length, and we do have a kind of a makeshift mounting for it, if you will. And this thing, I mean to tell you, is pretty sturdy. Doesn't go anywhere. Cows can push it, mess with it all they want. Take a look at this. Like I said, you won't even budge, and that's what we like to see in a mineral feeder. And it can hold about 100 pounds of mineral, so it's quite a bit. We only use about 50 at a time to be able to control that little better. But yeah, so we came up with this kind of design. Feel free to copy it if anybody wants to use something like it. Yeah, it's a little bulky, yeah, it's a little big. Our next design will probably be to cut those 4x4s down a little smaller so it doesn't take up as much space. But overall, for first attempt, it worked out pretty good. We got 2 of these, one in this pasture, one over other. So that's kind of gonna be it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and thank y'all for watching, and God bless.